Dr. Festus Tolo is a biomedical research scientist, and he's the deputy director at the KEMRI Center for Traditional Medicine and Drug Research, CTMDR. He is here with us this morning. Good morning, Daktari.
Good morning.
Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest community.
Asante sana. I really feel privileged to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we're privileged to have you as well.
No, we are very privileged to have you.
Oh,
Yes.
indeed. I too. Really privileged to be here.
Edna will sort you out to the water shortly.
Thank you.
Tell us about this center that you are the deputy director of. Center for Traditional Medicine and Drug Research.
Yes. Center for Traditional Medicine and Drug Research at the Kenya Medical Research Institute.
Mm-hmm.
This is the center responsible for verifying herbal and traditional medicine in terms of their safety and efficacy, and providing information to the relevant organs of our government to identify these therapeutic agents which can be used to manage various diseases in our country. And we do this in collaboration with institutions like the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, because they are the ones who register and allow such products to reach the people. And as we do our research, we collaborate quite widely. We collaborate with our universities, national universities, specifically Jomo Kenyatta University of Science and Agriculture. We collaborate with the University of Nairobi and Kenyatta University, and many others like Masinde Muliro University. And also internationally, we collaborate with institutions in India and also institutions in Europe, whereby they help us focus in areas of research which are pertinent in identifying therapies from natural resources, so that we are able to quickly look into these products and say or identify the ones which merit to be used as medicine.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is herbal and traditional medicine?
Herbal medicine is medicine which comes from plants. When you go and collect any part of a medicinal plant, there's a medicinal plant and there's just a plant. And you get a portion of this medicinal plant and you prepare something that is herbal medicine. Yes. But when you talk of traditional medicine, then you are talking about medicine prepared following certain routes, mainly cultural routes. Like, for example, if you go to, let me use our Maasais, because they are very eloquent on this. The way they prepare their medicine is different from the way they prepare medicine like in Western Kenya, for example. There are certain additions they put in this medicine. It could be a herbal medicine at the beginning, but as it is finalized, there are certain things they add. Like you'll find perhaps the Maasais would add some blood in it. They would add certain things in it to rejuvenate, to make it stronger, and perhaps also make it have a longer shelf life.
Okay.
So that is traditional medicine, because it's prepared following certain cultural aspects.
Okay.
So that's the difference. So traditional medicine, herbal medicine, I can prepare herbal medicine,
Yeah.
but I cannot prepare traditional medicine.
Okay. So are we saying that if a plant then has been altered in any way, then prepared to be able to treat a particular thing, then it is traditional medicine? Or if I can give an example of one, maybe you can then classify that as what it would be. I've read recently about a herb in certain parts of Western Kenya that is given to women in labor. It's picked, it's washed, and it's chewed, and that is supposed to help with the contractions, and it actually does. And then that allows this woman to birth faster. What is that?
That is herbal medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, because the way you have explained it, there's nothing added to it apart from that plant itself, that particular part which has been harvested, washed, prepared, and given or prepared in a certain way, maybe boiled, pounded, and given the way it is without any addition. That's herbal medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you start adding other things, like in Western Kenya, there is sometimes there's a product which they get from the ash. Even they use it for cooking. You find that they take that extract and add into medicine, and it improves even the shelf life of the medicine. And sometimes the delivery, it perhaps makes it be absorbed easily and better in the system so that it is more therapeutic. So that is now the difference.
I get it. So traditional medicine is value addition
Yes.
of herbal medicine. When you take herbal medicine and then you process in any way, then
It's
it becomes now
traditional.
traditional medicine, using traditional methods or knowledge
Yes.
or something like that.
Yes.
So this person who just administers herbs, right, could just be an elder or somebody who just knows, if my child is sick and go and uproot this kind of root, I boil it, I give the child, and their tummy gets better. That is okay.
That's okay.
This other one sounds like a muganga then, or you know, there are so many words and terms, eh?
Yeah.
Of muganga, muchawi, murogi.
Even in English, you say herbalist, but if you cross over the pond, they say this person delves in apothecary. So, I mean,
Which one is it that we're talking about? The one where the person has worn these very many things and they are using a fly whisk and
Yes.
and rabbit tail.
I like the way you are trying to describe such persons. They appear in very many forms. Sometimes they even don't dress the normal way.
Yes.
Now, herbal medicine, as I said, and traditional medicine are intertwined. You'll find that the one who is delivering or dispensing herbal medicine is also dispensing traditional medicine, and is very far from what we would refer to as the witch doctor, which I'll explain briefly. The traditional medicine, the person who makes that traditional medicine has certain expertise.
okay.
And they are very vast in herbal medicine in terms of the parts which are therapeutic. You know, when you look at a medicinal plant, when it's grown, it's a tree, you need to know the right part to collect. You also need to know the right time to collect it. Then you need to know how to process it and eventually how to present it as medicine. So they are knowledgeable in that. And when now they convert that herbal into some traditional form of medicine, as I'd said earlier, then the same person can decide to add a few things to make it more potent and increase the shelf life. Now, when you come to what we refer to as the witch doctor, a witch doctor is not a herbalist and he's not a traditional medicine practitioner at all. I don't know how I can describe them, because in many instances you find there are people who are not very well understood in terms of even how they present themselves and their medicine. Because when he's diagnosing you, for example, he'll show that he's throwing some shells on the table there, and then he tells you perhaps you're having stomachache or something, and then he says perhaps there's a black cock needed somewhere, and then you throw a few stones here. You see, so that to me
I tell you,
is
this
very
is because
strange.
Ndu
Yeah.
is not happy with you.
Yeah, he's not happy with you. Maybe somebody, you walked past certain things thrown on the floor, and now
Somebody stepped on your shadow.
Yes, somebody stepped on your shadow, and so many other things.
Yeah.
So you see, they are very difficult to explain, and that is why also in the scientific arena, it becomes very difficult to identify with such a person as a healer, as somebody who can help. And we are still trying to find out who these people are, because the thing is that we cannot shun away, we cannot run away from what they do, because sometimes they even provide that therapeutic benefit to some people, whereby you find somebody maybe has been healed of certain things. You know, belief can also heal you anyway. Yeah, so these are very difficult people to explain, and they are there. And how they get those powers and how they're able to do all those things is still a mystery. We are still trying to research.
So then, the research that goes into traditional and herbal medicine.
Yes.
Because the truth of the matter, Dr. is that these medicines or this treatment, they work for people. Correct. There are many herbalists, traditional medicine healers, who may not have, whose shadow has not darkened the four walls of a university, for example. However, their methods over time have worked. And I'll give an example. My mother is a pharmacist who studied pharmacy and pharmacology. But at the same time, with the medicines that she would dispense, there was the herbal medicine. She would talk about, people would use ginger root, for example, for nausea. People would use other herbs for treatment of malaria symptoms and things like that. She studied the science, but the traditional medicine also came into play. What's the meeting point between these two, even if with your research now to say this has helped generations, still does today? I don't want to call it traditional versus modern, because in modern times we are still using traditional practices. So where is the meeting point, and what is research showing that could be a possible marriage, complementary service between the two?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me try and explain it this way. When we talk of conventional medicine and herbal medicine, what is the source of the conventional medicine? You know, when we see a tablet or a capsule or an injection for that matter, we don't think very deeply as to how it arrived to be a tablet. Most of these conventional medicine are resourced from actually plants, natural products. And therefore, I would say the natural product, the plant, is the template where they are sourced, where medicine is sourced. So when we talk of the pharmacology, when we talk of, the science of looking into these products so that they are seen as therapies which manage diseases, then both the conventional medicine and the herbal medicine are both, medicines. They are both. I don't want to use the word drug, but they are both therapies which are beneficial. And we need to remember that many years ago, before even the colonialists were here, our great grandfathers used to fall sick and they used to treat themselves. In fact, there are certain communities here in our country who are known to have been doing even head surgery. If you read, you'll really find out that those people exist. So it means that this is knowledge which is not classroom knowledge as we perceive it today. You don't need to be in any university to be a good traditional healer. There are certain things which I think are learned through watching, through experience, and through interest, which our great-grandfathers were very good in. And if you are very keen and what I would say, they will pick you to inherit their knowledge, then they would impart it to you in a way that you'd understand it even better than somebody who's schooled at the university. Why am I saying so? Because the traditional healers we see, they might not appear as very learned to you, but in terms of the medicine they make, if you listen to them keenly as they explain to you how they collected it, how they processed it and prepared it, then you'd see that there's some science in it. When they mix 2 or 3 herbal medicinal plants to make a herbal medicine, for example, it's not arbitrary. They don't just mix because they are mixing. You'll find that one reason why they are mixing, perhaps one is neutralizing some poisonous activities of another, or one is actually synergizing the activity of the other. And that's why they mix. When you find that they are adding something like, ghee, they add some of them add ghee. You find that ghee is doing something. Is maybe picking out certain toxins which are in the medicine and neutralizing it. So they are really great scientists, very knowledgeable in what they are doing, and they don't need to have gone to any school. In fact, in their own domain, they are as good as any professor in any university. in terms of what they do. Yeah, so I don't know whether I'm answering your question, but you see, these are people whom we need to engage, and we need to listen to them very carefully so that we are able to pick this very important, vital knowledge they have, so that we can even document and also see how we can integrate it with our knowledge, the scientific schooled knowledge, and then we see how best we can be able to present the product for the
How does it marry with what then you are taught in School of Medicine and Pharmacy when it comes to diagnosis and prognosis? Understanding what symptoms the patient presents with and knowing this could be the cause and identifying this could be the ailment, and then also determining, so then this is the treatment I'm going to put you through and this is the dosage. How do they do that?
Through various means. Like as you mentioned, when you are taught at the School of Pharmacy or Medicine, you are taught certain techniques and you are taught certain information which helps in diagnosis and finding out what the ailments of a person would be. These persons also, through experience and a lot of it, they are able, when you are explaining your condition to them, they are able to find out what could be the problem you're having through even questioning you also and trying to find out the history of what you're explaining. And they might take you through certain questions which lead to what perhaps you could be suffering, so that they better understand you better, so that they can give you what they feel is going to help you much, much better. So the approach could be different, but the ultimate end, the goal could be the same, even though they have used certain techniques which are not very straightforward in terms of what we understand modern medicine to be in diagnosis. But at the end, what they will have found from their own understanding of your problem could merge and give the same result as a doctor who is looking at you through conventional means.
Natural scientists like yourself, sir, believe that the practice of medicine that you are taught is grounded in science. So it's empirical, it's something, and it goes through processes of peer review. So it isn't as though you come up and decide and everyone agrees with you. It goes through processes that other people have looked into this very same thing and have understood and said, yes, it is so. Now, there are processes that people have used from time immemorial which don't necessarily follow these set rules. I'm thinking of, say the Far Eastern practice of, say, something like acupuncture, okay, which is supposed to align your chi, whatever that is. Now, I'm looking at homeopathy, okay. I'm looking at touch therapy, Ayurveda as it's called, from India. These are practices that not people have used, people still use, and arguably with positive results. So, the time we have isn't enough to get into the very, very fine details of this discussion, but if one were to create a balance and look at what is available, in the recent years, there's been a lot of alternate medicines supposedly from China in the country. People even sell them, and people even claim that they have results which are positive with some of these non-communicable diseases, specifically cancer. Now, where's the balance? Someone listening and seeking to understand what they should go for. Someone claiming that they understand that some of these practices have positive results. Now, somebody who understands traditional medicine as you do and understands the science-based medicine as well, how do you talk to such individuals and how do you create that balance?
Yeah, thank you. Herbal medicine and traditional medicine, the way it's perceived sometimes confuses most of us because we start from the point where we think it does not work. And then, you only go to seek it when you have tried everything else and is you are like the final point. Now you say, let me also now try this traditional medicine or herbal medicine. But that sometimes is not the true way to present traditional medicine. It's not as a final thing which you are just doing because now you have tried everything else. It has its own merit. And as I'd said earlier, traditional herbal medicine has been with us for many years. And traditional medicine is known to manage quite a number of diseases in human and even also in animal, including the cancers, including most of the non-communicable diseases, and many other diseases which we do have. Now, without going much into details, what is important is to verify scientifically, of course, that the herbal and traditional medicine which are available and being claimed as management therapies for various infections do indeed work. And also, the other important thing is that when you are seeking that herbal medicine, try to get it from an authenticated healer, somebody who understands that medicine and gives it to you with the knowledge that is giving you the right thing. Because the other problem which we usually fall into is seeking this particular product, herbal and traditional medicine, from wrong persons. Not everybody who presents themselves as a traditional healer is a real healer. Or anybody who is walking around with that product is actually somebody who understands it. You see, that is the other problem. And it gives traditional herbal medicine a bad name. And these are the things we need to be very care of so that we don't fall into the wrong hands. But I would like to say here and emphasize that traditional and herbal medicine works. We have been able to scientifically prove this in our laboratories, and the only thing which remains is to avail these products to our people to use. Now, the other small problem which sometimes people ask is that, okay, if you have been able to verify this product, then where are they? Yes. And that is usually a question very difficult to answer, but we always answer it this way, that the problem is the source of the raw material. You know, when you have a product, when you put it out there in the market, you must be able to sustain the market. And that is where the problem starts. We need to do what we call, the best term is to do it in a way that you have farmers who are cultivating these medicinal plants.
Specifically for
as a business, as a cash crop.
Do you advocate for traditional medicine? And then part B of that question is then the research that KEMRI is doing at the moment as concerns traditional medicine. What is it hoping to find?
Thank you. Yes, I would advocate for traditional and herbal medicine. And my reasons are that even if it is not treating your ailment, it could be improving your nutrition status, boosting your immune system, because they do that, so that it is at least giving you something which is beneficial. It's not going to harm you. It's not a chemical you are taking in. And therefore is a better product. Now, the research we are doing at KEMRI, the aim is to, at the end, be able to integrate herbal traditional medicine into the mainstream healthcare system. We want these products to be availed at our hospitals, just like it happens in other countries which have been mentioned here. We've had India, we have had China, so Japan, and that is the ultimate goal. And what we are doing as KEMRI is bringing out evidence, scientific evidence, which is necessary to facilitate this. And the information very necessary is on safety. Safety is key for any product being taken. So if you can say it's safe, it's not going to harm, then that is a very big stage which you have achieved, and therefore you can now say, let's look at the efficacy of the product. And if it is efficacious, then now you have actually almost there, and then you say now, all right, let's see how best we can prepare it, formulate it, so that now we can avail it for our people to use in the hospital. So that is the ultimate goal. And at the center in KEMRI, we have various divisions looking into this. Now, first of all, it is very important to collect the right product. When you are going to collect that raw material, you must be able to collect what is right. And then when you bring it and you're preparing it, you must prepare it in the right way. Most of these natural products are very sensitive to light, for example. So you don't need to dry it in the sun. If you do that, you lose some of the properties, medicinal properties in the plant. Then, after you have processed it, you need to do what we refer to in general terms as fingerprinting. You want to know how you'll be able to identify the same product when you collect it again as a raw material to process. So we have a department or a division which looks at the phytochemistry, the small details of what could be present in this product, so that you are able to use that as a marker of activity or a fingerprint to enable you be able to identify again a similar product when you collect it as a raw material to prepare your medicine. Then we have another division which looks at now the safety of this product. And the safety is looked at in three forms. The first form is where you just want to look at whether this product is going to kill the mammalian cell line. You know, you can be able to grow the cell line in what we refer to as a petri dish. I hope we are familiar with a petri dish. And then you look at what happens when you introduce various concentrations of your product to these cell lines, mammalian cell lines. That is referred to as cytotoxicity. And then from there now you can do animal experimentation. And the animal experimentation looks at what we call acute toxicity. Acute toxicity is what happens within 24 hours when you give this product. You know, we know that if you have a potent poison, you give it to a person or an animal within 24 hours, this person will have either died, or there are certain things you'll have seen which are very serious affecting this particular person. Then the third bit, you need to do what we call subacute or chronic toxicity. What are the long-term effects of using this product? When is a therapy which you need to use perhaps this medicine for 3 or 4 months, or even sometimes 6 to 1 year? What are the effects on long-term use? So once now you are able to establish this, then now you can now say, okay, I've seen that it is safe. Does it treat what it is indicated for? Like if it is a bacterial infection, can it be able to kill certain bacteria? So we have another division which looks at that so that we are able to identify or confirm that this thing has antibacterial activities. If we are happy, then now we say, let's look at how we can present this product. So we have a department, we look at the formulation of the product. How best can we present it? Is it going to be better as a tablet? Because we can actually, remove the water from an extract and have it in powder form and tablet it. And then we look at the shelf life, and then we say, okay, we can present this as a tablet. So at that point, we are happy with the product. We are at a point where now we want to link in the production side of things now, and we have a production department in KEMRI, a small one, which will look at it and say, okay, you have been able to do this. We can see you have this data, which is good. All right, we can be able to scale it up by identifying perhaps a pharmaceutical company locally which can be able to produce it in large scale. And then we have the product in the market. But of course, before that happens, it will have passed through the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, because the Pharmacy and Poisons Board must register this product. And when they do so, they look at various information necessary for them to register, key among them being the safety of that product and how it is prepared, and the dosage, because it's very important, for a child, for a grown-up elderly person. And then how is it presented and for how long somebody needs to take it for the therapeutic benefit.
Sounds, Doctor, like you are taking traditional medicine and pushing it down the route of conventional medicine.
Not at all. We are just transforming it into a way which is pleasing to us, the way we see medicine.
See?
Yes.
Turning it conventional.
Not really. Conventional, when you talk of conventional, we are talking of a pure entity. Like I did mention the phytochemistry of the plant. Most of these conventional medicines are made from single entities of a chemical. And then you add excipient, you add other things into it so that it is stable, perhaps it's better, it can be better absorbed in the system, and so on and so forth. And that is it. It's a chemical still. But this one is still a natural product. When we are making it into a tablet, we have not isolated the ingredients initially present. We have only just removed the water. That's why we said we can remove the water and we have the powder. And therefore, the benefit of the herbal product is still there, even if it's a tablet.
How can the traditional healers, who are the custodians of this knowledge today, they have knowledge that's been passed down to them over generations, and they know this particular, herbs and trees and roots that contain medicinal value. How can they take advantage of this whole long system? Because it sounds like you are now trying to make them start doing other different things. How can they participate in this journey?
Very nice question. And in fact, in KEMRI, we have a day, Wednesday mornings, where we meet the traditional healers from 9 to 1 every Wednesday. You don't need to book. You come, you are a traditional healer or just an interested Kenyan who would like to know more about herbal and traditional medicine. We'll meet you, we'll talk to you. So when they come, we talk to them because you see, everything modernizes. You see, you cannot remain, in any system. If you don't improve your product, it's just like a car, for example. You can make a good car, but if you don't modify the shape, it will reach a point where people will not even buy that good car because of that poor shape. And the same applies to medicine. The same applies. If I want to come to SpiceFM here and I have some ailment which I need to carry my medicine, how would it look if I arrived here with 3 jerrycans on my side? You see, I'm putting it so that you understand me. It would be better if I arrived with some small envelope in my pocket and have my medicine, and really, I don't need to expose myself that much.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. They must be able also now to move with time so that they are able to have products which are still traditional, herbal, but in a form which is also convenient to the trend of things. And this is what I'm talking about. So when I'm saying formulating, we are only improving on the presentation of the product so that it is acceptable, so that we can use it without much problems.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Even as you look at, the nexus between traditional and conventional, even as you look at the research that is being done today and encouraging people to take on these conventional trends, however, not changing the integrity of the traditional medicine itself, right? For people who still have access, if you live in the city, for example, and you go, to the village and maybe you have an ailment, something goes, okay, perfect example, it's Christmas, you've overindulged. And there are people in the area who are going to be able to offer you something for your ailment. What would your encouragement be? Go ahead, use that? Or are you saying even with your knowledge or understanding or whatever else, go find the closest pharmacy or chemist? In terms of practice.
As I'd said, it would be okay if you are going to get it from the right person who understands it, if it's herbal medicine. Because it's equally good if you're getting it from the right person. And there would be no harm when you're home there and you have some stomachache. In fact, I'll tell you, herbal medicine has some of the best stomach ailment medication you can think of. And they are very therapeutic and they will not harm you. In fact, some of them will actually wash your system. And after that, you'll be able to feel very relaxed and you'll eat more and you will be more healthier than the conventional medicine. So it depends on where you are going to source it. Of course, if there is a nearby pharmacy, perhaps because of doubt of not knowing whether this traditional healer is really, a good one, then perhaps you'd go to the pharmacy. So, because pharmacies, they are regulated and so on. In fact, that brings a point which I wanted to raise here. The traditional healer is the doctor and the pharmacist at the same time. he
Yeah.
makes the medicine.
Yeah.
And he dispenses the same medicine, and this sometimes creates a problem. You cannot be you cannot be the judge and also the prosecutor at the same time. It brings a lot of conflict, and this has been the problem. And then when it comes to registration of the traditional healer, you find that they are registered by the Ministry of Culture, while these people are actually providing a medical service. Yeah, you see now that is another problem, and because of that, you only need to perhaps be well groomed and you arrive at the culture. I'm not saying that's what happens, but you can be able to be registered as a herbalist without you knowing anything herbal. It's very possible. And that now exposes the practice to people who might engage in it who are not very vast in it. We have come across scenarios whereby you find a herbal doctor not able to differentiate headache and stomachache, and that is very serious. Yeah, because if somebody is saying he's treating your headache and actually his stomach is referring to, then you can see the conflict. And then also when it comes to the medicine itself, some of them are not knowledgeable of the plant, the medicinal plant. They walk around, they listen to some wind blowing, and they collect some grass or some trees along the road, and they are preparing it, and they are presenting it as herbal medicine, and they are giving you. They don't know the dose. They don't know how toxic. Some of these plants are very toxic. Like, the euphorbia type, the ones which have some milky stuff. Most of them are not very safe, but you'll find that they take anything, they put it together, and they're giving you as medicine, and what they're after is just your little money, which you're getting through hardships. So this is the problem. So if, we can be able to find a way in which we only allow the right people who understand the medicine to be there, let these people have some knowledge of some medical knowledge a bit, so that they are able to properly even diagnose. Then let them also have a bit of how to prepare the medicine, so that they are able to know that if you are putting it in a container which is not very clean, if you are keeping it in an environment where perhaps temperatures are high for a long period of time, it deteriorates and it becomes something else. So if this information is imparted into them, then they'll be able to deliver a very good product. Some of them are very good and they are actually knowledgeable of all this, but not all of them, unfortunately. And this is what we need to do, so that we are able to also, safeguard our Kenyans, our people who use these products.
Are they registered?
Yeah, that's another question. You see, as I had said, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board needs to register the product, and they are doing it. In fact, they are doing it so well. But unfortunately, most of these products which are available out there are not registered by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. So their dosage is not known, their efficacy is not known, of course their safety is not known. Given that we know anyway that herbal medicine has been with us for many years, but you see, it is many years through safe hands, through people who understand.
Yeah.
If it is in the wrong hands, then the many years we talk about is just it's not
just
important. Yeah, it's just a number. So we need to have products which are safe, which are therapeutic. And the only verifier is the Pharmacy and Poisons Board.
Do they license the traditional medicine people?
Now, they only look at the product, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. As I had said, the licensing of the healer, the traditional healer, is done by the Ministry of Culture, not even the Ministry of Health. Yeah.
Is there an association that these healers belong to?
There are many associations
It isn't
they belong
one.
to. It's not one, but
not like
there is one main one which is now emerging. There is a nice lady, a traditional healer, who is actually chair of this association. They have various branches in various, I would say, counties of our country. And I think through this association, perhaps it will be possible to have a central point where discussions can be done, can be held with them, so that certain things, can be imparted into them, so that they are able to provide good service and good product. Yes.
You know, we're talking about mainstreaming this work that they do. Most traditional healers belong to, should I say, families, in the sense that it was a tradition that was passed down.
Yes.
So because it was passed down, there was knowledge that was passed down.
Correct.
Now, what does one need to do in order to get them under one umbrella? The way the doctors and dentists and pharmacists
But
have gotten themselves into one nice little club.
Very difficult. That's a nice question. I think the important thing here is that the herbalists themselves need to understand what they are doing, so that they are able now to come together and talk with each other and synergize what they are doing, because no one else can do that for them. We have mentioned the pharmacists, and we have mentioned the conventional doctors. These are persons who understand each other, and they know what they do. They know how important it is for them to be together, so that they can be able to provide service together. The herbalists also need to do this. They need to understand each other. The interesting bit of the herbalist is that they are very, private. They are very secretive. Maybe that's the right word to use. Opening up and sharing that knowledge is not as easy, even to themselves, because they believe that whatever my knowledge I know, if anybody else would get it, they would misuse it or
Better
use
profit
it.
than myself.
Correct.
and I lose my
Yeah, so
competitive advantage.
That is the other problem they have. And
Daktari.
yes.
Oh, sorry to cut you short, but 1 hour is a short time. We want to have you again soon,
Thank you.
so that you can come and we talk about this. Dr. Festus Tolo is the Deputy Director at the Center for Traditional Medicine and Drug Research at KEMRI. We've been talking about the breakthrough research on African traditional medicine. Come again soon, Daktari.